Welcome to the CIO Insights Summit. We are excited to speak with Chris Brown, the president of Intelygenz USA. Chris delivered a compelling keynote on harnessing deep tech, transformative AI solutions for modern businesses. In his presentation, he highlighted the critical role of applied AI in driving ROI, highlighting the importance of rapid deployment to bridge the gap that often delays AI. Projects from successfully moving from development into production were some of the key topics that he touched on. Chris, thank you for joining us. Chris, in your keynote, you emphasized the concept of applied AI and its impact on ROI. Can you elaborate on how Intelygenz ensures that AI projects deliver tangible business value in such a short time frame?
We've been doing this for 10 years. We started really early. So a lot of it is down to purely just experience. So if you look at the world of who's talking about AI, it's full. Right. And then if you look at who's actually doing AI, the world's not so full. In fact, it's pretty empty. So there's two things. One is the experience. We started very early. We built a lot of experience. But over that time, we've also defined and refined the engagement process that you need to be successful in AI. Because when you're deploying an AI project, it's very different to any other kind of software project. With other software projects, we know we're going to finish. It might be a week early, we might be a week late, but we know we're going to finish. But when you're developing an AI solution, the answer at the start to nearly every question is, we don't know. Have I got enough data? I don't know. Have we got correlation in the data? I don't know. Is it clean enough? I don't know. Is it disaggregated? I don't know. What accuracy level can we achieve? Or what accuracy level do we need? The answer to nearly every question is I don't know. So we've defined and refined a rapid experimentation engagement piece at the front end. So start with scoping, then we go into rapid experimentation so we know within 4 to 6 weeks what elements of change we need to put in place, or have we got everything we need to be successful to achieve the accuracy. It's not just a technology conversation. So at the very beginning of a project, we're talking about two things. We're talking about what is the target variable? So what does good ROI look like? How are you going to measure it? How do you know what good looks like? Not from a technical perspective, but how are you going to measure the results? How are you going to sell the business case? And we're going to build that ROI from the very beginning. Then, I know it sounds like a lot, right? But we curate everybody through this. We make sure we orchestrate them through the process. So experience, we're talking about commercials at the very beginning, not at the end of the project. This is not a technical exercise. And we engage with rapid experimentation up front. So all of that engagement makes sure that we go at the fastest possible speed with the best possible results.
Chris, you also mentioned that 85% of AI projects fail to transition from prototype to production. You mentioned this 4 to 6 week time frame, which is very quick when it comes to the AI experience. How are you walking the walk instead of just talking about it?
We want to be in production, maybe not using the solution to make commercial decisions within the business, but from a technical perspective, we want to be in production as fast as possible. If we start projects and we're in innovation centers and labs and we're using batch data and pre-production data, you get this big shift and often a downshift in accuracy in your models when you move it to production. So what we want to do is build an architecture that can get your solution technically in production. We are using production data, and therefore we're not going to suffer this movement in accuracy when we move from one environment to another. But we protect, hey, we're not going to be using the output of this until we're very confident in the results that we're achieving. And often what you'll find is people think that, our clients think that we put a solution in place with AI and we switch it on and we hold tight and hope that it works. But no, again, part of that engagement process is how are we going to get absorption within the business, not just from a usability point of view, but from a confidence point of view, in order to help the business absorb the new answers, the new predictions or classifications, or the generative AI that we're creating. How do we turn the dial slowly and create that confidence? All of that is about having early conversations and not just taking this as a technical exercise.
Another one of the things of Intelygenz is rapid deployment. Now, this is one of your value propositions. Can you share some examples of how your team is implementing AI solutions quickly and effectively, and also being able to touch on those important key factors like ROI?
Yeah, sure. So our superpower and our super weaknesses, we work across many industries. So we're not industry experts. We are data and AI implementation in production experts. So we learn a lot of things about different industries on the way, which is super cool. But I'll give you a couple of examples and you'll see kind of the disparate things that we're doing, both on a disparate data set, but also in terms of the objectives that we're trying to achieve in the industries we're working in. So let me pick a couple. So we work a lot in finance. And big in finance right now is moving away from rule-based fraud detection into AI-driven decision-making on fraud. And so we use that engagement model, and you find that you can go up against very traditional rule-based fraud detection, and you can blow the numbers out of the water. So one huge set of numbers we got is 700% decrease in false positives on transactions within finance institutions without moving the true positive, without increasing the true positive. So you're not increasing risk, and of course we can balance that off. We can reduce true positives if necessary, but that affects your false positive. But you can drive these down, and what false positives do is they're a hindrance to revenue for transactions for credit card companies, for example. That is putting multi hundreds of millions of dollars back into the revenue stream of finance institutions. So that's finance. We've also got a completely different subject. We're looking at quality assurance through visual inspection. There's a lot of things that we do in manufacturing. So we're looking at, I'll pick silicon chips. So we look at silicon chips, and within silicon, I told you we learned a lot of things about industries that you would never know. Silicon has natural hairline cracks in the silicon that will electrically test correctly, but when they go into the field, they will fail after a period of time. And the industry has to detect these cracks. And they've had camera models for quite some time, but as the sophistication of their products get more and more complex, they have backside grinding marks, they have all kinds of different imperfections in the silicon that makes it difficult to get those cracks to shine through. So we do a lot of data pre-processing and a lot of data science for Fourier transform images, lots of clever technical things in order to drive very high levels of detection of quality defects in products. Again, in high-scale businesses, that can be hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of value every year.
And one of the things that you highlighted was being able to choose that correct solution, because as you discussed, there was that risk component. How do you reduce risk as well? So how do you choose the right AI consumption model? How are you able to guide your clients in selecting the best model for their needs?
So there's two pieces to this one. And this is a topic I'm really passionate about because I don't think it's talked about enough. And if you don't take the right choices, you can make missteps that you'll be doomed for the rest of the project. So there's broadly three. You said there's off-the-shelf, model as a service, open source models, and each of them have technical considerations, but also very non-technical considerations. What's the right cost base? How does it work from an IP perspective? What is legal and regulatory? If I can't move data from outside of my firewall, let's forget about using bought-in services, or let's forget about using model as a service because I can't move the data to where the model is. So it's not an applicable solution. That's, again, sorry to be boring, when we go back to the engagement model, you have to have that conversation early to say, what fits the environment of the challenge that I'm trying to achieve? And you must consider all of them. Very non-technical, often very non-technical aspects of a project, and make sure you know that you're not going to make a misstep from the beginning.
And then to kind of really sum up everything we talked about, what final advice would you give to people when it comes to everything we've been discussing?
Be open-minded, get out of the technical mumbo-jumbo hype, right? If you're not a data scientist, you're not an ML engineer, you don't have any aspirations to be one, leave all of that to the ML engineers, the ML ops, and the data scientists. Guide your business and understand the true reality of where AI can fundamentally make a difference to the growth of your business. If you do that, if you help guide your business to those places and rely on experts, either in-house experts or partners, to bring the data science, it is a very, very specialist technique, the ML ops, the ML engineering, and focus on where AI can help your business.
Chris Brown, thank you so much for sharing your insights. We look forward to seeing how Intelygenz continues to lead the way when it comes to applied AI.